Hello everyone, welcome behind the scenes of Little Dreaming, behind the tracks. Welcome to Los Angeles, sunny Los Angeles, and a day with me. I'm going to start off from the top of the album. It's Cian, bitch. Actually started as a joke, and the music was from a song that I love, but it was we hadn't finished the song and it wasn't really going to be on the album, but I love this part of it, the whole build of what the intro is now. And then I was doing this joke in the studio, which is like, it's Cian, baby. It's Cian, bitch. And I was joking about it, and then everybody else was like, it's actually kind of really cool. And I was like, maybe that could be the intro of the album. And then I had this idea of like an audience arriving at a show and everyone's mispronouncing my name and they're all asking how to do it. And it's all like family, it's all like friends and family and like bandmates and like anyone I get asked to like mispronounce. There's some artists in there. Anyone who can mispronounce my name. And then I love it just like builds into this euphoric moment. And then it's like, I think the kind of track that like really sets the tone for the album. The album is not really what you would expect musically, like all of it, goes in different places. It was like a new kind of sound as well, some of it, which was really exciting. So I wanted to intro the album with something like crazy where people are going to be like, oh, this is going to be different and super fun. So just remember, it's Cian, bitch.
Tell me, baby, when you fall asleep, when you're dreaming.
Track 2, Who's Making You Feel It? The famous first single, This was the one that Ed Sheeran told me to put out first, so that'll always be a good memory. I love this song so much, it felt like the birth of the album. I don't know, it was just a feeling. The song was just like, it's just a vibe. It, for me, like really had that sort of like emotion sonically of like trying to pretend like you're okay, but also being like, but I still kind of want to know like who you're sleeping with now and like what's going on. And also like, I don't know, just like a big mix, like when a relationship ends or a fling ends or anything, and you're just like, you're trying to be like kind of keeping it chill, but you're also like super heartbroken. So it's kind of like quite a sad song, but it's like paired with like a kind of weird, magical, uplifting kind of sound. I love it so much. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to play live as well. Just a really fun song, and it came like really sort of in the moment where I was figuring out like a lot of what the sound of the album was going to be in like a kind of this direction that felt like really me and really fun and really fresh, and I love it so much. And who's making you feel it? If you're ever feeling down about that person and you ever catch yourself stalking their Instagram, just listen to this song and then you'll feel better. Also, the music video is so sick. If you haven't watched it, if you're watching this, you've probably seen the music video. If you haven't, or even if you have, go watch it again right now, because it's 5 stars.
1, 2, 3.
Track 3/2 of the album, depends if you want to count the intro or not, Little Dreaming. This was the second single off the album, and it was definitely one of my favorite songs, like when we made the original, like when we were working on the album and made the sort of like the bulk of it in that really exciting time where all these songs started coming. I love this one so much. It's about like being yourself and not being scared to just like, do what you want to do and live for yourself, and whether it's paint your nails or, however it is. And I think it's just about, living your best life and not letting people who don't sort of agree with what you do or whatever, like bother you or get in your way. It's an encouragement to just be silly, be stupid, be like flamboyant, be dull, be whatever you want to be, but be it because you want to be it and not because somebody's telling you can or you can't. And that's really exciting for me. And I love the song because it's just an explosive like celebration of like self-expression. Unfair. Track 4. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. Super conversational, was like written very quickly. I was just telling the story and that became the song, and I just like played the guitar in one take and then sang over like the story essentially that I'd kind of written down. And it's basically about like how you can fall in love really young and really deep, and like sometimes it's out of your control when things end and when there's a breakup, and how unfair that is to like fall in love so hard at so young when like circumstance and life gets in the way. And I was in a relationship that was like long distance and all these things, and it's like so out of your control. And sometimes it's like things don't end because you fall out of love, they end because like just life gets in the way in situations, and like you're just too young, I guess, to be able to like make it work. And I think we've all been there. So this song breaks my heart every time, but I love it, and I really hope that you love it too, and that it speaks to you. Track 5, What About Love? I wrote this song kind of like walking across my kitchen. Seems to be a recurring theme of songs that I write, actually. My piano is like in my kitchen, so I wrote it like I was walking towards the piano, and I had this idea, and then I played it on the piano. Then I started writing the song, and then I kind of like left it halfway, and then I went to the studio a few weeks later, and I finished it with my friends. And it's a song that's all about like sort of looking at yourself and the things that you're trying to take a hard look at yourself, and the things that you're actually striving for and that you're putting value on, and that are like how you're realizing that like those things that you're searching for, whether it be like physical appearance or, you know, success or whatever, someone's approval, anything, I guess they don't really bring you that much joy. And I think I realized that anything that was bringing me joy and happiness was usually based on love, whether it was with my friends or family or anything like that, and realizing that that's what like brings goodness in this world. So it was kind of like a reflection, inward looking on myself, I suppose, and like also at the world of like, why are we so fixated on all these things that like don't matter? And when someone has that, you'll be like, oh, I wish I had that, but it's like all anyone wants is love, and like you'll realize that even those things are things that you want so that you get more love. So it's like maybe just focus on the love. Track 6, Shalalala. This was like third single from the album, and one of my favorite songs, and making it was so much fun. I think it was like the pressure was like off when I was making this as well, and we had written so many songs at that point, and even on this day, and I just wanted to write about things that were on my mind, like the state of the world and the president and all these different things, where I was like, what's going on, you know? And it's so easy to feel like hopeless, but also I felt like we needed a bit of togetherness. And so I wanted to write a song that was like super easy for people to just like sing together. And it was just like this, like beautiful sense of hope in the song or something, you know? And it just starts off like, whatever happens, like I'll be there for you. And then like, you know, all of us go through these different things, whether it's heartbreak or like, you know, the world is breaking our hearts, or just the state of everything. But it's like, if we come together, we sing together, we, you know, unite ourselves, we're stronger. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And sometimes you just need like a little sense of like togetherness to have like some hope. And I think there is always hope, and there is beauty as well amongst the darkness, which sometimes is hard to see, but it's important also not to let the bad people of the world ruin everything for us. Track 7, Rock Bottom. This one's a bit self-explanatory what it's about, but I wrote it on a flight. Weirdly, I think it's probably one of the only songs I've written on a plane. I wrote it on like a flight to Nashville. I don't know how long that flight is, like 8 hours, London to Nashville. And I finished it in my first ever kind of session that I had in Nashville. And yeah, it was really fun. I immediately like was obsessed with it. It was one of my favorite songs. And the album was already finished, technically, and had been submitted. But I'd written this song, and then I was like, wait a second, this is kind of a vibe. And then a few days later, I did Unfair. And I also had written No Way to Live in this trip. And so I felt like I was like getting onto something kind of that felt like a missing piece of the album. It was quite folk and quite like kind of Americana for the album, but it just came out that way and felt that way, and that was like the natural thing. And funnily enough, I had basically written it on the plane, and you know, not all of it, but like a good portion of it. And in the studio, I was with these three guys that I'd never met, all great like songwriters and producers, and you know, it was our first time meeting, so I wanted to have something that I already had to like start. So I was like, okay, I've got this like whole thing, and I'd like written basically all of the verses and like half a chorus, and I just like, I'd never sang it on a guitar yet because I just basically landed in Nashville and I wrote it on a plane with no instrument. So I sat down and I was like, I'm gonna sing it for you guys. I'm just gonna play some random chords because I'm not just gonna like read the lyrics because that would be weird. But I was like, I've never sang it before, like I don't even know what the melody is, but I'm just gonna make something up. And then I just sang like what it is today basically. And the guys were like, yeah, I guess that's it. And then we just like worked on the chorus, we finished it and like changed it around because it like wasn't right yet and stuff, and then wrote, you know, finished other parts of the song. But it was really funny because it was like one of those moments where it was like, I guess I'm just gonna sing the lyrics at the first try, and the first melody that I sang was the one that we like kept, which is really cool. And it's quite rare that like that happens. Sometimes you sit around for ages, and it was one of the first times that I'd written like an entire song, like so many lyrics, so many verses, so many like things, and had not a melody basically in mind. I had pretty much just like the meter of it, and like, yeah, so that was quite cool. But it's one of my favorite songs from the album, and it's really fun, and performing it live is hilarious because people always have really pretty funny reactions to it. Kiss and Tell, which I guess is kind of like track 8 / the interlude. I didn't call it an interlude because I felt like the song was too much of a song to be just an interlude, but I love this one. Obviously very Irish like ballad, and just was like, I wrote it with my Irish friend, and we just kind of, I think we weren't really thinking about it when we wrote it, like we were just like organically we started doing that because one of the lads started playing like a drone on a synth, and then I just like started singing like, there's a girl that I know, you know, like that kind of Irish melody. And yeah, I just loved it. And then like it was written in like 5 minutes, and I basically like took my tin whistle, went to record the vocal, and I just played the whistle, sang the vocal in one take, played the end whistle, and that's what we kept. And it was just sang over a drone, so like completely like free time. And then I recorded the acoustic guitar to it afterwards on like over the vocal while listening and following along, which is kind of the opposite to how you would mostly do it, especially for something free time. Usually you would record the guitar first and then sing to it. But we did it like the other way around, which is really cool and really fun. But it's one of my favorite songs. I keep saying that, but I really love this one. It's like so unique and so different in the album, and like takes you to kind of like like a magical place. So definitely one of my favorites, and is about someone I love very much. The famous track 9, the legendary track 9, which funnily enough happens to be the Book of Love, Darling Don't Be So Sad, has basically become a single. Was just an album track, but then you guys decided to blow it up and give it a life of its own. So now it's kind of like a single. One of my favorite songs. I keep saying that. God damn it! I wrote it about my friend because she was being treated badly by shitty guys. I wrote this song in like 4 goes. This song took so long to write. I had the chorus and the first verse, then I wrote a different first verse, then I wrote like a different verse again, and then I just came back to this song so many times over and over and over. But I love the chorus so much, and I just kept trying to get it right, and then I made it faster, slower, faster, higher, lower, up, down, backflips. Many versions this song has seen, and hopefully we landed on the right version by the end of it. Track 10, Hallelujah. Song's all about having unholy, unforgivable, stone cold, steaming. It's a very sexual song, so I hope you're all at home getting down and nasty. I actually wrote the song at home at my piano, and I didn't think anything of it, like the first kind of version of it, but Sophia, my girlfriend, kept bringing it up and kept saying, you have to finish that song though. And every time I would play her another song, she kept bringing up this song and being like, yeah, but what about that song, you know? And so then one day I was in the studio and I was writing with some friends, and then I was like, well, I got this song that my girlfriend keeps telling me I should finish, and I played it for them, and they were all like, yo, pretty sick, definitely got to finish that. So we did, and it's Hallelujah. Hope you get nasty lucky tonight and you play this song, and then the person is like, what are you doing? And you're like, put on that Cian Ducrot, babe. It's time to get down.
Got the best of my mother, the worst of my father and me.
Track 11, Break My Heart. First song I wrote for this album, in Paris. The song's pretty self-explanatory. I wrote it in Paris with my friend Tristan, who I made my whole first album with. And I remember like finishing the chorus like on my way back to the hotel, because I had like to get that last line, and it was like, break mine before I break yours. And I like got that like finishing line on the way to the hotel. I was like, I've got it. And I was like so excited, and I sent him loads of messages and voice notes. But yeah, it was really exciting. It was like the first thing that I started to write for the new album, and I didn't know what it was going to sound like at the beginning, and then I'm glad I made the cut in the end. And it's basically about being a fuck up, and that somebody's too good for you and they should probably leave you before you hurt them.
Sit down and shut up for a second, 'cause you're confusing your freedom with a cold case.
No Way to Live. I wrote this one also in Nashville, I mentioned earlier. It's about not being a dick. There's a lot of dicks out there. A lot of people who tell you, don't paint your nails. There's actually one guy who keeps commenting. This guy told me that I deserved even worse because my nails were painted than being cheated on. So this song is about Dale McDougall's. People like Dale McDougall who just comment and say dumbass mean shit because they have no lives. Just don't be a dick, Dale. Like, what are you getting out of it? Just be nice. So fuck people like that. And yeah, that's what this song is about. It's about douchebags like Dale. Fuck you, Dale. God only knows. Do you know when you realize that you're falling in love with somebody, and then you're like one day in and you're like, shit, I'm in love. And then you're like, I probably shouldn't say it because it's like way too early, but I also need to know if you love me, so I might just say it anyway. But then you're probably not going to say it back, and I'm probably not going to say it yet, but I also need to know, but I need you to tell me. And you're not giving anything away right now. I can't read you because I'm not a mind reader. And most of the time they don't love you back and you just like cry in your car. It's basically about that, pretty much. I wrote this in LA actually, also near the beginning of the album process, and it was just one that felt really like it belonged on the album and very sweet. And it was sort of about a moment in my life that I wanted to share with you. Yeah, it's just like that when you realize you're falling in love and you're just like, shit, am I going to be like up all night thinking about you, like crying because you don't love me back, or is it going to work out? Who knows? Stay tuned to find out.
Wish I could see you now, to talk about the past. I know you'd
And we near the end of the album, almost, which takes us to My Best Friend, which is one of my favorites and was written sitting on a step outside a studio where I made most of the album. And it's a song about my best friend who I lost. And it kind of just like fell out of me one morning, and I was just having a coffee and I didn't think I had any songs in me because we'd written so many songs every day. And then I just sat down on my own and this song fell out, and then I recorded it live in one take. So the recording you hear is one take, and it is a live recording from that. And I hope you love it, because I love it. And that takes us to Your Eyes and See It to Believe It, the end of the album. Last two songs originally written as one song, but too long for today's attention span. So I made it 2 songs. These 2 are probably the most fun I've ever had, like making music ever, as you can probably hear by the songs. And it was very much like just did whatever ideas and whatever I wanted, and didn't think about like, oh, this sounds like sonically like the right thing or whatever. I just wanted to go with like what felt right, and all the ideas that I had, I was just like, let's just do it. And then afterwards we can decide if it makes sense for the album. And it was so fun. And they're basically like a continuation of each other. And Your Eyes is obviously all about gratitude and also being in love. And then See It to Believe It becomes like the more romantic side of the love and all that. And it's just like a huge celebration then to like end the album. And I love how it ends with that. And then has the little like outro bit on it. But yeah, kind of feels, those 2 songs feel like the celebration at the end of the album and just a big explosion, and I love them so much, and that's my album. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this behind the tracks. If you haven't, then I'm not sure why you made it this far. If you have, I love you and thank you for everything. Now I've got a show to play in about 40 minutes, so I better get ready and get on stage and sing. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Little Dreaming, the album. And I've been your host, Cian Ducrot. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.